It started on a Thursday, not the kind of Thursday that feels like a Friday, or one that's dragging like a Monday, just a plain forgettable Thursday. I was in my apartment alone like most nights, halfway through a documentary I'd already seen twice when I heard it again, soft. Rhythmic, faint but unmistakable. A second heartbeat. At first I thought it was mine echoing through my ears. I paused the TV. My own heart was steady but alone. The second heartbeat, slightly off-tempo, persisted for another few seconds and then stopped. I stood up and paced the room, ear tilted toward the silence like it might speak to me. My apartment was a one-bedroom, barely 40 square meters. Nothing big enough to hide anyone or anything. I checked the windows, locked. Doors, dead-bolted. No pets, no roommates, just me and something else. I dismissed it that night as a quirk of tired ears or over-caffeinated blood, but it didn't stop. Over the next week, the second heartbeat returned, always when I was alone, always when the house was quiet. It wasn't constant. It came and went like a wave, growing louder sometimes, softer at others. Once I even pressed a stethoscope against my chest. My own heartbeat was there, sure, but beneath it, behind it, something else thudded slowly and deliberately. I told no one. Who do you tell that you're hearing another heart in your body? It was only when I stayed at a hotel for work that I noticed something even stranger. The heartbeat didn't come. The silence was perfect. But the moment I returned home, suitcase still in hand, the second rhythm came back, like it had been waiting patiently, growing bored in my absence. That's when I began to wonder, what if it wasn't coming from inside me? What if it was coming from the walls? That night I turned off all the lights. I sat in the middle of the room, cross-legged, waiting, and sure enough I heard it. Stronger this time. I got up, pressed my ear to the wall beside my bed. Nothing. To the floor. Nothing. Then I tried the mirror. The pulse was louder there. I stayed completely still. The glass was cold. I could hear it closer now, louder. 2 heartbeats, and one of them wasn't mine. The mirror never frightened me before. I'd grown used to its presence, just an ordinary piece of glass above my dresser, cracked slightly on the top left corner. But now it felt like a door. I stared into it, trying not to blink. My own reflection looked back at me, calm and motionless. Yet the sound thump-thump, thump-thump was louder when I leaned in. I placed my palm flat against the mirror's surface. The cold seeped into my skin, and then, just for a moment, it pulsed. Not the glass. My reflection. Its chest rose a fraction slower than mine, as if mimicking me with a delay. I yanked my hand back, heart hammering now for real. The second heartbeat had stopped. The room was silent again, but the air felt wrong, like something had stepped just out of view. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't even try. I kept the lights on and avoided the mirror. I told myself I would get rid of it in the morning. But when the sun came up and I finally stood before it again, it was different. The crack was gone. The mirror was flawless, new-looking even. I knew that was impossible. I'd lived here 3 years, and that crack had been there since I moved in. Now it looked like it had never been touched. I knocked on the glass gently. 1 heartbeat. I stared. 2 heartbeats. Then I noticed something else. In the reflection, the room behind me looked perfect, except for one thing. A shadow just behind me standing still. I spun around. Nothing. The room was empty. I turned back to the mirror. The shadow was still there, unmoving. And then for the first time it moved its head toward me. Not my reflection, its own. It smiled. I stumbled back from the mirror, knocking over the lamp. The bulb shattered, plunging half the room into darkness. My breath caught. I didn't want to look again. But curiosity, terror's twisted sibling, pulled me forward. The reflection was still there. The smile wider now, unnatural. My own face still moved normally, trembling, terrified. But the thing in the mirror, it was free from me now. It moved independently. I turned and ran. Out of the bedroom, out of the apartment. I didn't care that it was dawn, that I wore only socks and a t-shirt. I didn't stop until I was blocks away, sitting on a bench, hands trembling. I stayed at a friend's place that week. No heartbeat, no mirror. But something had changed. Each night when I closed my eyes, I could still feel it. Something beating just behind my own rhythm. Like a second breath on the back of my neck. I saw a doctor. I saw 3. All of them said the same thing. You're healthy. Maybe it's stress, anxiety, a hallucination. I wanted to believe them. But deep down I knew, whatever had been in that mirror, whatever had mimicked me, smiled at me, lingered in the reflection, it was no longer trapped. It had crossed over. The mirror is gone now. I smashed it the day I came back. But every night since, when I lie alone in the dark, I hear it. Thump, 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 thump. A second heartbeat, no longer faint, no longer hidden. Sometimes I feel it when I touch my chest. A flutter, a rhythm not quite mine. Sometimes I see my reflection smile before I do. And sometimes, when I pass by windows, water, or polished metal, it's not me looking back. It's waiting. And now I'm starting to wonder, how many heartbeats do you hear when you're alone?